called the nucleus intermedius. The reason is they know that the nucleus intermedius will monosynaptically communicate with the, by the way, the nucleus intermedius is in the medulla. It's in your brainstem. The nucleus intermedius, they now know, I'll show you the two best studies, they are to die for. They're so good. The nucleus intermedius will monosynaptically communicate with the nucleus tractus solitarius. The reason to tell you that is because the nucleus tractus solitarius is a major neurological relay for these four functions. It is a major relay for the function of your heart. It is a major relay for the function of your lungs. It is a major relay for the function of your gastrointestinal system. And here it is, guys. It is a major relay for the function of your immunity. For example, if you look at the Nature's Review of Immunology, June of '09, last June, there is a wonderful article on neuroimmunology, and the center of that response is the nucleus tractus solitarius. But they know that the nucleus tractus solitarius is monosynaptic, postsynaptic from the intermedius nucleus. The newest studies on neuroanatomy and neurophysiology, and again, on the study that Brian kept talking about, the blood pressure study, they never mentioned any of this. They didn't know this. But the best studies, I'll show them to you momentarily, are now acknowledging the nucleus tractus solitarius, the nucleus intermedius to the nucleus tractus solitarius, monosynaptically collects information from C1, C2, and C3, the upper cervical spine. So these guys are actually claiming, non-chiropractors are claiming, that upper cervical mechanical afferentation into the system controls the viscera, including, but not limited to immunity, but also cardiorespiratory controls of blood pressure, etc. It's interesting that they all say that this is the central thing. But to get into here, they're pretty adamant. It's based upon not so much, if you read the studies, even the study that Brian went over, it's not so much the adjustment, apparently, as it is the symmetry of the muscles after the adjustment. These guys are adamant. The control is the mechanoreceptors of the suboccipital musculature. So if you look at NUCA, and apparently somebody here actually does NUCA, if you look at NUCA as a technique, which I don't do, but I sort of understand it, if you look at it, their goal is not to get a snap or a pop. Their goal is to create perfect symmetry between the skull, the atlas, and the upper cervical spine. And that the more symmetry you have, the better you have symmetrical, mechanical afferent input into the intermedius nucleus and its control of the entire visceral system. But what if you're not doing upper cervical work? Well, the other little add to all of that would be this. The same articles on neuroimmunology acknowledge that the nucleus intermedius also communicates with the sympathetic nervous system. Pause. The nucleus tractus solitarius is parasympathetic. The nucleus intermedius communicates with both the nucleus tractus solitarius, which is parasympathetic, and the sympathetic nervous system, which is also a component of control of immunology. There is the Ellenkopf study that came out of the journal Pharmacological Reviews. The best study ever written on neuroimmunology came out in December 2000. I'll share it to you momentarily. It's a pretty interesting study. But all of this is interesting, but it is more interesting if you dovetail it with the Jiang study from Spine, January of 1997, the year of my second daughter, my daughter Candace, where Jiang was able to show that you can get into the sympathetics and into the neuroimmunological loops by just firing off spinal mechanoreceptors anywhere in the spine. It didn't have to be upper cervical. Because not all of us are specific upper cervical chiropractors. A lot of us are mechanoreceptive chiropractors that we would adjust the periphery. In fact, in the Jiang study, they were able to get into the loop of the sympathetics and its control of viscera. They were able to get into it as a consequence of a mechanical input into a thoracic paraspinal ligament. Point of it is, there's explanations for almost anything that chiropractors have been known to do, but this upper cervical stuff is quite interesting when you look into it. These would be some of the things that I've seen just recently, just to run a match at. If you really want to understand immunology,